Goodbye, Texas. Hello, Missouri. So it's October 1999, and my mom is booked in the county jail in Butler County. She's about to be shipped off to serve her prison sentence now. And my sister and I are on the way to Missouri on a plane. And I didn't feel too good about life, at the point, I'm sitting there on a plane looking out. For one, I'm scared of flying. And I'm like, wow, now we get to go to a new place. Who knows what's going to happen next? The people that dropped us off at the airport didn't fly with us back home. I guess that's pretty normal. And they were like, hey, stewardesses, whatever, make sure, these kids are good. We're not going to be flying with them. But they got people waiting for them in Missouri. And they're going to pick them up there. So we get to Missouri, we land, we get off of the plane, and we get into the airport. And there is my aunt, my uncle, and my 3 cousins waiting for us to be picked up. And we left. So we land in St. Louis, we're walking out of the airplane, we get into the terminal, and there's all 5 of them waiting for us. But we were a little bit nervous at first because at this point, I'm like 10, my sister's like 7, and we haven't seen any of these people for years. So we're like, we don't even know what they look like, so hopefully we can find them. Luckily, we found them. I remember the first thing Judy said to us, like, she sees us, she walks up to us, and she's like, Jesus, Mario and Carmen, you guys are filthy. It's like, oh, thanks, way to make us feel like total shit already. But whatever, I mean, we were probably dirty, maybe, I don't know. You think we'd be clean, but our clothes probably weren't like their greatest clothes. Especially when we roll up and they're all in like, all of our cousins are in like brand new windbreakers, like Nike, Green Bay Packer windbreakers and like nice outfits, and they all look clean and proper. And then we're getting off the planes like 2 orphans or something. It's like, oh man, the dichotomy. But we leave the airport and we get into the van and we go to Ponderosa to eat. It was like a buffet, basically. It's like, just a standard buffet now where you go in, you get all your food, and they have like an ice cream bar where you can go serve your own ice cream. And I'm like, we can have all the ice cream we want? Like, no way. So basically I ate some food, but then I lived at the ice cream bar. I was just getting lots of ice cream, like with the hot fudge and the chocolate chips and the whatever. I loved snacks. Give me some more snacks. Give me some more chocolate. Give me some more ice cream. So that was a good time. I remember that. We leave Ponderosa and head back home to Poplar Bluff, and we get back home finally. It's pretty late at night. It's got to be like midnight or something at this point. When we get home, I can still like remember the smell of the house. Like it smelled so clean and so nice, and it had like those night lights plugged into the wall, so when you walked in, it was pretty dimly lit, but just lit enough where you could see everything. And it's like, wow, this is like a super nice house. It's like a house you'd see in the movies. Like, whoa, and it smells so good. And then we got to go in, and she was like, you guys can have a snack at the kitchen table. And I was like, wow, I got a cosmic brownie. Like I probably had cosmic brownies before, but I don't remember cosmic brownies before that point. I remember that being like my first cosmic brownie. I'm like, this is the best snack ever. And it felt pretty good living in that house for quite a while. I'm not gonna lie, like it was a pretty good time. It's fall 1999. The weather is just pristine. We go to Burger King like right before Halloween because it's right around Halloween when all this happens. And I remember we went to Burger King to like play in the little play area and have Burger King. And now every single time I drive by a Burger King, I just think of the fall of 1999. It's kind of weird. That char-broiled burger smell. It just smells so good coming out of the burger place. The steam is coming out of the thing, and you're just like, damn. This is probably the start of my seasonal depression. Let's be real. Like, this is probably where it happened, like fall of 1999, which is weird. But, So we got enrolled in school and started going to school. And I remember my yearbook photo that year because I was wearing this like gray vest. I loved wearing it. Wore it pretty much till it was too big to wear anymore. And my mouth was still healing up from that scab from the bike wreck I had like a few weeks ago, because at this point, like, this was only like a few weeks since the whole bike wreck, and my whole mouth was still like kind of scabbed up from that, so it was like still in my yearbook photo. Thankfully though, the bullying stopped at the school. Nobody really picked on me or anything. I'm living with my aunt now. We're living in a nice neighborhood. She's got a pool. I'm dressing nicer. At least I have nicer clothes on because my aunt's letting me wear my cousin's clothes, so at least I look nicer and whatever. My cousin actually goes to the same school because we're in the same grade. We're actually in the same classes, so like he at least has my back, so nobody's really picking on me. And it was really funny because like the whole way I even got introduced to like the class, if you will, is, because you go into school and you're like, hey, this is a new kid, Mario, whatever. He used to live here, then moved away, now he's back, and whatever. So nobody really gets to know you. And then we're on the playground or we're at recess, and we're playing soccer with like this basketball where like all the dots on the basketball were completely gone. It was just like a ball with nothing on it, just a plain looking ball. And so we kicked it around playing soccer, and for some reason got kicked up super high in the air, and it like came at me, and I just stood there, and like I maybe moved my head a little bit so it could bounce off my head, and then it just boink, bounced off my head and just bounced off and went away. And then everybody like stopped and stared and looked at me. They're like, whoa. And then my cousin Brandon was like, yep, that's my cousin Mario, he just moved here. And then everybody was like, oh, he's so cool, whatever. And even to this day, I don't know why people thought that was cool, but it was just like, wow, I'm actually kind of cool now, you know? People saw me do this thing, and now they don't think I'm a freaking idiot, and they're not gonna try and beat me up and bully me. So I was like, fuck yeah, I got a friend here, man, hell yeah. And then, you know, I started making friends, and then it's pretty normal at this school. Our Christmas that year was pretty much perfect. Like, we wake up, and like, we're opening Christmas presents, and it's just a good time. And then Judy's like, hey guys, I want you to go outside in the garage and see what we got you out there. And it was after like everything was already open, and it was like, wait a minute, you got his bikes? No way. We like freaked out and went out to the freaking garage, and there was all of our bikes lined up, like perfectly sized, like how it would be in Hollywood. Just like, oh my God, it's like a Hallmark shot. It was like, wow, no way, that's our bikes. And then for some reason it was like, you know, 60 degrees outside or whatever, and we all got to go ride around the neighborhood on our brand new bikes. Just a good time overall. And then the big millennium happened, you know, 1999, changing over to 2000, and it was like, oh no, what's gonna happen? And then we stayed up at midnight waiting to see what was gonna happen, and then nothing happened. It was like, oh, well, that's boring. And then some time goes on, and we're still going to school. Everything's pretty much normal, and then it is time for my mom to finally get out of prison. So she comes home. So now it's sometime the year 2000, and my mom finally gets out of prison, and she moves in with my aunt and all my cousins and, you know, me and my sister. She has no money, obviously, so we're just gonna have to stay here for a couple months because, like, she still gets the government check from when my dad, you know, killed himself. So the government still sends me and my sister 2 checks. So I guess we're waiting on a couple more checks to come in so that we can get our own place and move out. And at this point, my mom had pretty much cut the crack. She'd pretty much stopped doing drugs, and she would start getting on pain pills. So pretty much her new addiction switched from crack to pain pills. And so like we'd be going to church, and she'd be like nodding off at church. She'd be nodding off everywhere we went. She would just be like, whatever, you know. And we had this old church, and I remember being in like the old part of the cafeteria, and this Nancy lady was just like staring at my mom. I'm like way across the room, and I look over, and my mom is just nodding off, falling asleep, and this woman Nancy's just staring at her like, really, bitch? Like, you're really fucking nodding off at church right now? And it's like, can you stop embarrassing me everywhere we go, Mom? Like, you just got out of prison. Can you like not be an embarrassment right now? She'd be nodding off in the garage back at home at Judy's house. She'd be like out there falling asleep in the garage with a cigarette in her hand because we'd have to go, well, not we, but they would have to go outside in the garage and smoke cigarettes out there, not in the house. And so she'd be sitting out there smoking a cigarette in the garage in the little chair, be falling asleep. And then my aunt, I don't know why she would do this shit, but like she would literally come get me and my sister and be like, hey guys, come out here. And then we'd go out in the garage, and she'd be like, look at her. And she'd be like literally saying it like that, just like, look at her. She's just falling asleep. Sandy, wake up. Look, your kids are out here. Look, you're going to fall asleep and burn the whole house down. Sandy. It was like, oh my God, dude, this is so messed up. And it was just like, we were looking at her too, like, Mom, wake up. Like, what are we doing? Like, you're falling asleep. Anyways, I don't know. But eventually, you know, my mom would finally save up enough money, and we'd be able to get out of my Aunt Judy's house and move into our own place. So that was when we moved out and moved into the Harper Street house. So that's old 1214 Harper Street. I lived there, and I believe that was 5th grade. This is the house where she started going to her friend's trailer house and started doing pill cocktails, is what we called them, where they would be like, you give me a blue and I'll give you a pink, and then you give me a yellow and I'll give you a green, just talking about colors of pills, just like, yeah, swap pills and let's just do all these pills. And my mom would show up to church, to my basketball games, just like nodded out. And everybody, it's so embarrassing when you have a mom that's just nodded out from pills at your basketball games in the church and wherever. So at this point in society, like the early 2000s, pain pills are becoming increasingly easy to get. It's like you go to the doctor and be like, doc, my back hurts. And be like, here's 200 pain pills. And it was like a weed card now where you go into the doctor like, yeah, my back hurts. Like, here's a weed card. You know, it doesn't really matter. Nobody really cares. And that's how it was then. And my mom and all of her stupid friends would be like doctor hopping, which is basically illegal, going doctor to doctor saying, hey, my back hurts, because you're only supposed to be able to get so many pain meds a month. So when you go doctor to doctor, it's like you can just really max out on them. And then what they do is sell them to their friends, sell them to whoever, and then they're just popping pills for free and then making money on the side, and then it's just like a whole business they're running out of these freaking pain clinics. And my mom used to take my sister and I to this freaking one woman's house, Laura, to her trailer, you know, and they'd all just be, you know, popping pills and trading pills like they're Pokemon cards. And it was crazy because like there would be like weird competitions going on. I remember this one competition they had going on. It was like 3 of them in the kitchen doing this. And they were like, nah, man, I could pop so many pills. I don't even need no liquid. They'd just be seeing who could pop the most pills with as little liquid as possible. And I just remember one of them had like 6 or something pills, and they had like a bottle cap with like a very tiny amount of liquid in it. They put all the pills in their mouth and like, look at all that. I just took all them pills. And it was like, dude, you guys are wild. And this woman's kids were definitely out of control. She had a daughter there that was like 16 or something like that, and she'd be in the other room smoking weed with her boyfriend. They'd be listening to fucking Nelly, if you want to go and take a ride with me. And it was like, dude, she's 16 smoking weed over there, and I'm thinking like, oh, these must be like much older kids. They must be like cool and shit, you know, because they're smoking weed and listening to Nelly and stuff. And it must be normal and cool because, well, the mom is sitting right here. Like, obviously she wouldn't be letting them do this as if it wasn't normal, right? So I'm just thinking, oh, this is totally normal. And then the boy kid, like, he was super crazy. He was younger than me. I can't remember how old he was. He may have been like 8 when I was around, but he was a lunatic. He'd be, for some reason, my mom would make us stay over there at nighttime, and we'd have to sleep over there, and we'd be like trying to sleep on the couches or whatever, and we'd hear him in the back room trying to sleep in his mom's room, and he'd be like, I'm gonna kill you, bitch. I'm gonna bite your fucking titties off, bitch. I'm gonna get a knife and stab you in the neck, bitch. I want you to die, bitch, die. And I was like, what the fuck? And then she'd be like, stop, please stop acting so crazy. And I'm just like, dude, this is definitely not normal. Like, what the fuck is going on around here? And then like the craziest thing about that kid is like right now as I even film this thing, he's in prison. Like, I'm not gonna go into all the details, but like that kid ended up in prison. And it's like crazy to think about, like, when you look at his whole situation and his mom and his dad, and I don't even know if he had a dad now to think about it. His dad definitely wasn't over there when I was over there. I don't think he had a dad really. So his mom was just the only one raising him, kind of like me, and then he ended up in a way worse situation, and then he just, you know, ended up in prison, and it's fucking crazy.
So this is the 5th and 6th grade center, which is now the high school. Dude, there was this one time actually where my mom was so messed up on drugs, she forgot to pick me up from basketball practice. I stayed after school and I'm waiting outside, like actually right here, waiting outside the door for my mom to come pick me up. Never comes, picks me up. Basketball practice is over. The girls finished practicing. Everybody's leaving. And this one coach is like locking up the door and he's like, hey, where's your ride at? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just waiting. And for some reason, I got the inclination that he was gonna take me home. So we walk over to there to that parking lot. We're just walking by the side of the building. And I'm like, okay, I'm about to get in this guy's car. He's about to take me home. That's cool, let's go. So I'm literally foot in the car. One of my feet are in his car. And he looks over and he's got 2 of the kids in the back seat. He's one of the coaches, so he's got 2 kids that also went to school here. And I'm getting in the car and I see them. I'm about to sit next to them. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I thought you were giving me a ride home. He's like, no, you got to get out and go over there and wait. I'm like, okay. So then I just got out and walked back over to the front of the school and just stood there. And it was like 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. at this point, so there's still sun out. And I remember nobody came until it was dark. And then there was this bridge right over there. I finally see some light. It's dark now when I get picked up. I see light coming across the bridge. I'm like, thank God, my mom's coming to pick me up. Turns out it's my older sister. She picks me up and she's like, hey, Mario, mom's all drugged up at home, so I had to come pick you up. And I'm just like, wow, go figure. She's all drugged up. And then I get home and my mom's pissed at me like I did something wrong. I'm like, I'm in 5th grade, bitch. What the fuck do you want me to do?
I never forgot being left at basketball practice. Not really because like I was so offended my mom forgot me, like, oh, boo-hoo, where's my mommy? It was like because I was so embarrassed that those kids had to see me there just standing there waiting on nobody. And since they were like my age, I would have to see them in school forever until I graduated. And then whenever they drive off and leave me there at the 5th and 6th grade center, it's like, obviously they're gonna say something right there, like, who was that kid? Like, what's he doing? And then it's like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. They're obviously gonna be talking shit about me, even though I'm in 5th grade, but you know, that's kind of just what happens. And then I have to see these kids, you know, forever, like in high school, and I'm just like, damn, man, you guys really just know me as that kid, you know. And it was so embarrassing because like those are the kids like I look up to, you know. When I first moved to Poplar Bluff, I was in school, like in class with one of them in particular, and I would always look at him like, wow, that's what it's like to be cool. Like, that guy's cool, man. He was on the basketball team. He was like really good at basketball. He had cool everything. Like, he was just super cool. And I remember I used to think like windbreakers, like when I moved to Poplar Bluff and my cousins were all wearing windbreakers, I was like, oh, that must be the cool shit. I need windbreakers. I need to be always wearing windbreakers. And then this kid, for some reason, he would be wearing like blue jean shorts. And I'm like, blue jean shorts, that's lame. Why would you want to wear blue jean shorts? But then I'm thinking, oh wait, that's actually what's cool. He's cool. That's what cool people wear. So then I'm like, okay, I want to wear blue jean shorts, you know? It was just kind of weird that I just looked up to those guys like that. And then, you know, that situation happens at the 5th and 6th grade center where I get left at basketball practice and they just drive off. And I'm like, oh man, this is so embarrassing. So I never forgot about that because of how embarrassed I was going to school with those kids for like ever after that. It was just so embarrassing. And really, I think that's probably some of the problems I had when I was younger too, is like when I would see those kids, I'm like, wow, what they're wearing is so cool. I want to wear what they're wearing so I look cool and, you know, I feel cool and I fit in. I just wanted to be what everybody else was, so I would just blend in because like I didn't even know who I was. So I'm just trying to be like everybody else so that I don't like look out of place or feel stupid. Like I would almost imitate the way people talk and like their enunciations and just everything just so I could like fit in and not be totally left out on everything. Or it was like, oh, maybe if I'm like this, people won't pick on me. You know, maybe they'll think I'm cool or whatever. Maybe I'll be, you know, not bullied anymore.
This is when I realized my aunt was evil. I'm like, what, 10 or 11, 12 years old. My sister's like 8 or 9, and we're little kids at church, and we're walking into the church, and my aunt's like, hey, Mario, Carmi, let me sit you down and tell you something. I just wanted to let you know. And she's like bent down on our level, letting us know right to our face. She's like, I just wanted to let you know that the reason your mom went to jail and went to prison and you had to stay with me and your Uncle Junior was because she was prostituting. They found thongs and sex toys in her purse, and we just felt like you should know. Like, yeah, a 12-year-old should know that about his own mom. Or a 9-year-old. Like, what the fuck are you people thinking? Why do we need to know that? So we went home immediately and was like, hey, Mom, Judy told us that you were prostituting in Texas and that's why you got arrested. And then she freaks out, obviously. It's a whole ordeal.
I still to this day have not a single clue why my aunt would tell me or my sister that my mom was a prostitute. Like, looking back, I'm like, I can't think of a single solitary reason that would be good for us to know, even at that age. Like, that age or even now, like what would be the purpose of that? Like, we already know she's a drug addict. We already know she's been to prison. It's like, do we need to know more than that? And it was like, at this point, you know, I kind of start seeing the onion layers being pulled back from my Aunt Judy. I'm like, you're not really what you seem. Because with my aunt, it was like just such a mental game, just like a mind game all the time. It's never like a what you see is what you get type of deal with her. And with her, she liked to be the painter of all narratives. She liked to paint all the narratives to make her look as good as possible. And she's like, well, kid, you know, your mom was a prostitute, but don't forget, Aunt Judy took care of you. And it's like, I can't remember the bending down thing. Like, I can't remember Judy bending down and being like in our face, just like I can remember the Lisa situation where she's like bent over in my face, like, just so you know, you need to get cleaned up so we can get subway. You know, it's just so weird how etched out those memories are in my brain. And overall with my aunt, it wasn't like a, you know, what can I do to help you? It was like, what can I do to show you that I'm better than you? And that's just how it was, you know. And I had to move in with my aunt a few years down the line, but we're gonna get into that later. Shortly after we got a new house on Harper Street, my mom already gets arrested again. October 19th, 2000, my mom gets arrested for being intoxicated on pills and driving. Where's she going at 5:41 a.m. on a Tuesday while on pills? I couldn't tell you. Maybe to get more crack, maybe to get more pills, you know, who knows. It's a Tuesday, so my sister and I are probably sleeping at home, about to wake up for school, and we wake up and it's like, hey, where's mom at? Oh, she's in jail. And I'm not really sure if she was in jail or not. I can't remember like this specific arrest. I don't remember if we woke up and we were like, hey, where's mom for real? Like, I assume that's maybe what happened. We probably still went to the bus and went to school, but it was like, who knows where she was? It was 5:41 in the morning when she got arrested, so unless she got to jail and booked and released and got home before we woke up and got to the bus, it was like she was just not there when we woke up. It's just kind of crazy. So time goes on and my mom meets a new alcoholic to date, Mr. Mark. And Mr. Mark really actually wasn't that bad, you know. I didn't mind him that much. He'd be around, you know, here and there. He let me try my first wine cooler, which was kind of funny. He was over with a bunch of wine coolers and I was like, I want to try that. So they gave me a sip and it was pretty good, I ain't gonna lie. And then one day he was over and my sister and I, we were on like this little front porch area we had. And we were doing the whole dance to the Backstreet Boys song. What's that song called? Everybody, yeah, We were doing that whole freaking song dance like on the front porch, and it was like, oh my God, that was hella cringe. But anyway, that's just a random memory that I remember of Mark. It's just funny that my mom is over here being a crackhead, and she was like, how many alcoholics can I fit in a... Never mind, I'm not gonna say that. Anyways, I also remember when they broke up because it was super awkward because my mom was like, hey, we gotta go to Mark's house. He's not answering my phone calls. And it's probably like, I don't know, 5 or 6. It's like early evening. The sun's still up, but it's going down. And we walk, the few blocks that is Mark's house, and we get there and we start knocking on the door. Nobody answers. And then, like weirdos, we walk around to the side of the house and start looking in the window. And there he sits, like right in front of the window. And he's just sitting there in the recliner, just watching the TV, having a beer. And my mom starts knocking on the window. Mark, hey, Mark, talk to me, Mark. Please talk to me. Whatever. She's acting like a fucking lunatic. She's like 50 fucking 2 years old or whatever, acting like this. It's crazy. So we leave Mark's house the first time, and she's like, whatever. And on the way home, I remember we found this like broken skateboard in a ditch, and my mom was like, hey, take that skateboard home. And I was like, why, Mom? It's fucking broken. Like, I probably wanted a skateboard, but I'm like, it's a broken skateboard in the ditch. It's obvious. That's why it's in the ditch. And she's like, yeah, no. Mark's gonna fix that for you. So I'm like, whatever, dude. So I pick up the skateboard that's broken and I take it home. And then she's like, yeah, I'm gonna have Mark fix that. And then we went back the next day with the skateboard. She was like, hey, Mark, I need you to fix the skateboard for Mario. And we didn't even see him this time. He's not even there. But that was it. Never saw that guy ever again. He pretty much stopped talking to her. Who knows why? Maybe he found out about the prostitution. Maybe he just, was like, I just want a bitch that drinks. I don't want a bitch that smokes crack. Who knows? Whatever. Very awkward situation either way. But nonetheless, this alcoholic was gone so that she could bring back the old alcoholic. When did you guys reconnect after that?
She seen my name in the paper in jail.
Oh my God.
These kids were like, why is your big toe showing out of your shoes?
So Mario, what were you out there doing at Walmart? I was like, oh no, she already knows I was stealing Pokemon cards. This is bad.
My mom went back to prison.
I killed him and I buried him in the backyard. And she's like, in your next, bitch, I'm gonna kill you next. Feel my legs getting hit in the back of me. Bop, 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 bop. We go see my mom in prison and talk about weird.
Just hit me in the face like, what?
Okay, nobody's coming after us. I think we got away. Hell yeah, we made our escape. Until we didn't make our escape. And my mom was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, kids. I can't believe you have to deal with this. Whop, right in the dick and balls.